A sober but yet still pretty upbeat Grammys. Before we delve into that, let's get the latest on where things stand with the death of Whitney Houston in the Beverly Hilton on Saturday night right before the Grammys. What are authorities saying at this point?
Well, bottom line, we still don't have all the answers. We do know that the police say that no foul play seems to be involved. There were these unconfirmed reports about whether she drowned in the bathtub or what exactly happened. The cops have not announced anything specific on that. The coroner is still going forward with his report. Once that report is made public in probably a few weeks, then we'll have some specific answers about what exactly killed Whitney Houston.
And so far reports saying that there were no illegal drugs found in the hotel rooms. You've interviewed Whitney in the past. She had battled issues with drugs, of course, throughout her career. There were, I think, reportedly prescription drugs found there, maybe some Xanax along those lines, and reports that maybe she had had a heart attack in the bathtub. These are early. We still, as you're saying, we still don't have a confirmation on this.
Yeah, these are early reports. Of course, we all know that Whitney Houston battled problems with drugs for much of her life. Even before The Bodyguard in 1992, she reports that she was using drugs. The drug use became heavier after that. It involved cocaine. It involved mixing cocaine with marijuana. These obviously wouldn't have helped her in any way, so we don't know exactly what killed her, but we do know her past drug use could not have been a help to whatever did kill her.
Similar circumstances, of course, behind Amy Winehouse's death early in the year. Her legacy on display last night at the Grammys, as well as Whitney Houston's. But it was the singer Adele who, on the other end of the spectrum, the more joyful end of the spectrum, took home top honors. How did she sweep?
Yeah, to a certain extent, it was about the human voice last night. I mean, you have Whitney Houston, who's known for being a great vocalist, called the voice by as many people, and you have Adele, the newest voice in the scene, someone who is a global music superstar now, who sold more records than anybody else last year, and she did it at some points without even singing a note, because she'd had vocal cord surgery, sidelined her for a few months. This was her big coming out party, a coronation for her really, because she swept 6 of 6 categories when she was nominated, went home with 6 awards, including Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and Album of the Year. So a very big night for Adele.
You interviewed Adele here at the Wall Street Journal. She also performed for us.
And you saw her too.
I did. I was right in the front row and very happy to be there. And this was right before she had to have vocal cord surgery and was sort of off the market and off the touring circuit for a while. When you asked her about her voice and taking care of her voice, what did she say? She was a smoker, right, Chris?
I couldn't get confirmation of whether she was smoking when we talked to her.
Right.
But I do know she has smoked in the past. She tried to quit in the past. And I do know when people smoke, obviously when they're singers, it does take the range off the voice. It can cause other kinds of throat problems. So we don't want Adele to smoke. So
no, and she performed last night. One of the first times people have heard her in a long time. What did you think of that performance? What are people saying? Is her voice back to its peak yet?
Well, I think you could see by the standing ovation she got from the crowd that her voice is back. It sounded great. To my ear, I don't know if she belted it out in the way that she did when we heard her. She seemed almost unrestrained when we heard her, and it was beautiful to hear. It was terrific. Nearly, people say you can blow the roof off the joint. She literally seemed to do that when she performed for us. This time it seemed like she held something in check, but still just a wonderful performance to watch.
That's what I thought too. Maybe just a little bit reserved. You didn't know whether it was because she was being somber because of what had happened with Whitney Houston, or if she was just nervous about how are my vocal cords going to do tonight.
Or she's finally, doing the smart thing with her voice. When Tony Bennett performed here, he talked about the way he sort of restrains his voice. He sings in a particular way, so he's not going all out every time, and he's still performing decades into his career. I think if Adele wants to have the kind of career like Tony Bennett, she probably wants to conserve her voice, pick her spots, and then go for it. As
you mentioned, Tony Bennett was here. It's getting to be good luck to come to the Wall Street Journal. He also won a Grammy. Quickly, run us through some of the other big winners last night.
Well, I think one of the surprising ones was Bon Iver. Justin Vernon, of course, is the main guy behind that group, and they won for Best New Artist. And that was a little bit of a surprise. Many people thought that Nicki Minaj, the rapper and singer, would win that category. She put on a performance last night that still has people talking. It involved exorcism. It involved some tape segments and sort of a play within the performance. And people on Twitter didn't quite know what to make of it. I didn't know quite what to make of it, but it did have people talking about what she does.